What's up, Broncos country? You're not going to believe what just happened behind the scenes with our Denver Broncos. Riley Moss, that cornerback who's always stepped up to the plate for our defense, just dropped some statements that will make you understand why this season could be different from anything we've ever experienced. But hold up, Denver Broncos family, because what I'm about to reveal to you today will show how our defense is transforming into an impenetrable wall. And look, when I say impenetrable, it's because big things are coming. Stay with me until the end, because you're going to discover what's really happening in practice and why Riley Moss is so confident. People, let's start with the obvious. Playing alongside Patrick Surtain, too, isn't easy for anyone. Imagine being a cornerback and having to share the field with the current Defensive Player of the Year. It's pure pressure. But Riley Moss not only handled the pressure last season, he showed he's here to stay. The guy played 14 games as a starter, and check out this stat that will make you understand his importance. Riley was the third player with the most tackles. On the entire team, third. That means he was always where the ball was, always present, always fighting. And it doesn't stop there, family. 3 interceptions and pass breakups, including an interception that saved our skin in decisive moments. 8 passes defended. That's the work of someone who understands that defending the honor of the Broncos is no joke. Moss knows that when you play on the other side of Surtain, opposing quarterbacks are going to test you all the time. And here's where things get interesting. Broncos country. You know how our division is, right? The AFC West has 3 quarterbacks who can destroy any defense if you slip up for a second. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, Justin Herbert with the Los Angeles Chargers, and now we have to deal with these beasts twice a year each. It was thinking exactly about this that our front office made a move that could change everything. They brought in Jahdae Barron in the draft straight from the first round, pick number 20. And look, when you take a cornerback in the first round, it's because you have big plans ahead. But here's where Riley Moss shows his character. Instead of complaining or feeling threatened by Barron's arrival, the guy embraced the situation. And you know why? Because he understands something that every Broncos fan needs to understand too. Good defense is deep defense. Listen to what Riley said about it. He loves having a room full of guys who breathe football. For him, that's the most important thing, because that's how you build a team that can attack every week and stay at the level it needs to be. People, that's winning mentality. Instead of seeing Barron as competition, he sees him as reinforcement. Instead of worrying about position, he thinks about what's best for the team. That's the difference between a common player and a player who understands what it means to wear the Denver Broncos jersey, and it wasn't just Barron who came to strengthen our secondary family. Do you remember Talanoa Hufanga? That safety who came in free agency and promises to be another fundamental piece in our defensive scheme. 2 major reinforcements in the secondary. 2 players who came to add to strengthen to make our defense even more feared by opponents. And Riley Moss is completely bought into this idea. But let's talk a bit about this guy's journey, because it's important for you to understand where all this fight comes from. Riley always dreamed of being an outside cornerback, always wanted to play on the sideline, always had the goal of being there on the front line defending against the best wide receivers in the league, and it wasn't easy getting here, Broncos country. The guy went through ups and downs typical of any cornerback who's establishing himself in the NFL. But he never gave up on the dream, never gave up on playing where he always wanted to play. For him, it's all about repetition, about always being in the right place doing the right thing. Since childhood, he said, "We're going to do this no matter what it takes." That's the mentality you want to see in a player who represents the Denver Broncos. And look, even being primarily an outside cornerback, Riley has the versatility to play inside when necessary. Situations where the cornerback needs to travel. With the receiver, specific game situations where tactical flexibility makes all the difference. Now comes the most interesting part of the conversation, Denver Broncos family. With Barron's arrival, who should initially play in the slot under the command of Sean Payton and defensive coordinator Vance Joseph, there is always that possibility of future changes in the tactical scheme. It could be that at some point there is a more direct competition for the outside position between Riley and Barron. And you know what Riley thinks about that? He learned a lesson in college that he carries to this day. Never get comfortable. His college experience was crucial in this aspect. Riley started as a starter from his first year, but at a certain point, he got comfortable with the guaranteed position. Result? He had some bad performances and lost the spot. This experience marked him in a very positive way. Now he knows that no matter what your position on the team is, no matter how many good games you've played, no matter how many positive stats you have, you need to attack every day, train like it's the last practice of your career. If you're true Broncos country, subscribe to the channel because you can't miss any play of our season. Drop that like down there and hit the bell to not miss any news about our Denver Broncos. Let's continue talking about the changes Riley made in the offseason to prepare for the challenges ahead. The guy gained muscle mass, but not just any muscle. Mass. Pure muscle strategically thought out to handle the physical punishment against the toughest receivers in the league, because you know how it is, right? At the line of scrimmage, things get ugly. Big receiver, strong, technical, trying to use all physical strength to break free from coverage. Riley understood he needed to prepare physically for these body-to-body battles, and it's not just muscle, family. The guy worked on mental preparation too. For Riley, the most important thing is to enter the field with a clear mind, trusting in training, without overthinking, without trying to guess what's going to happen. Just playing football and trusting in the speed he has. And look at that confidence. Riley believes there are few players in the entire league who can be faster than him. That's the mentality we want to see Broncos country. Confidence based on work, on preparation, on hours of training. His philosophy is simple but efficient. Maintain the correct back pedal, trust what the eyes are seeing, make the right decisions at the right moment. And in practice, he always tries to simulate real game situations, putting pressure on himself, so that when official game time comes, everything flows naturally. Now let's talk about something that maybe many of you don't realize. Riley Moss could, very well, be the most underrated player on our roster. And you know why this happens? Because he plays alongside Patrick Surtain, too. When you have a Defensive Player of the Year on your team, it's natural that guy receives more attention, more spotlight, more recognition. But that doesn't diminish at all the importance of what Riley does for our defense. Actually, it's exactly the opposite. Having a reliable cornerback on the other side of the field is what allows Surtain to shine even more. It's what allows our defense to function as a well-oiled system, where each piece has its specific and fundamental function. Riley understands this role perfectly. He knows he's going to be tested more frequently than Surtain, knows that opposing quarterbacks are going to look to his side, seeking vulnerabilities, knows he needs to always be ready for decisive moments. And the coolest thing about all this is seeing how he embraces this responsibility. There's no complaining, no drama, no hurt ego. There's work, there's dedication, there's love for the Denver Broncos. With Barron arriving and Hufanga reinforcing the secondary, our defense promises to be one of the most solid in the league. But it's not just about individual talent, family. It's about chemistry, about understanding about each player, understanding perfectly what his role is in the system. Riley's excited about these additions because he understands that football is a team sport. It doesn't help to have one or two exceptional players if the rest of the defense isn't at the same level. You need depth, you need quality at all positions, and when you look at our division, at the offenses we're going to face during the season, it becomes clear why these signings and this draft were so important. Mahomes, Herbert, and all the other talented quarterbacks in the AFC won't have an easy life against our renewed defense. Riley's mentality is exactly what we need to face these challenges. A guy who doesn't get comfortable, who's always looking to evolve, who understands the importance of teamwork, who respects healthy competition within the team itself. Broncos country. Do you see how this all connects? How each piece of the puzzle has its importance? Riley Moss may not be the most famous player on our defense, but he's fundamental for the entire system to work, and the best part is seeing his evolution since he joined the team. From a young cornerback trying to establish himself in the league, to a mature player who understands his role, who embraces responsibility, who works every day to be better. This offseason he spent gaining muscle and working on the mental aspects of the game shows the level of professionalism he's reached. He's no longer a player who just reacts to what happens. He's a player who actively prepares for the challenges ahead. And you know what this means for us, Denver Broncos fans? It means we have a cornerback we can trust, a guy who's always going to be ready for important moments, who won't falter when the pressure increases. With Patrick Surtain on one side, Riley Moss on the other, Jahdae Barron bringing young energy, and Talanoa Hufanga providing solidity in the secondary, our defense is shaping up to be something special this season. But don't forget one important thing, family. All this only works if each player maintains the right mentality. And Riley Moss is the perfect example of what this mentality should be. Hard work, humility to learn, courage to compete, and unconditional love for the team. So, Denver Broncos family, after everything you heard today, what do you think of this new face of our defense? Riley Moss is showing he came to stay. He came to fight. He came to defend the Broncos' colors with all the fight we expect. Leave in the comments what you think about these changes in the defense. Do you believe this renewed secondary will make a difference in our season? What are your expectations for Riley Moss this year? Don't forget to leave that like. If you enjoyed the content, share it with that friend who's also Broncos country, and stay tuned to the channel because there's always hot news about our Denver Broncos. Until the next video, family, and bring on this historic season. And as always, go Broncos.